know, when you get to this point in the program, the best rule on speaking is to stand up to be seen, speak out to be heard, and sit down to be appreciated. There are some things I would like to say to you. You're looking at a happy man. Peggy and I, our son got married in August. Our daughter got married Saturday. We just celebrated 41 years anniversary. That woman right there. I heard somebody say the secret of our long, happy marriage, been married longer than we have been, the secret of our long, happy marriage is every week we go out, find a nice restaurant, go to dinner twice a week. She goes on Tuesday and I go on Thursday. All right, then. I'll be very brief. There's a poem, you remember, Robert Burns, something like it translates from way back. Would the gift the Givey give us to see ourselves as others see us? Or something like that. Well, I've been able to experience that in the last few years by talking to people, meeting people from around the world to come into South Carolina and all over the United States to find a place to spend hundreds of millions and billions of dollars. One little mistake and there goes their career, their family's future, and everything else is very important, even their reputation. So they're very careful in where they want to go. And they go all over the world, go all over the United States, and you know the list of the big businesses that have come here from around the world, and they're still coming, and they're coming fast. So I've asked them, what is it that makes South Carolina different? And the difference makes the difference. They say the reason we come to South Carolina is because of the people, the people, the people. So we are different, and that difference is displayed here. In every state you go to, you don't see meetings like this. In every state you go to, you don't see things that we do that we think nothing about, that we do just as a matter of habit, a matter of custom, a matter of tradition, a matter of life. Some of them, I notice all the time in my travels, I go to a quick shop, a little convenience store, and between getting my coffee and paying for it, the woman at the cash register will call me honey, sweetie, darling, and dear. You've probably seen it. I promise you they don't do that all over the country. Some of these folks say the only time a stranger speaks to them is when they're putting a gun on them to take their money. In some places, we are completely different. Peggy and I have noticed this, and here's some of the differences, how they display themselves. The way we go to the beach, typically down to Pawleys Island, is 137.5 miles. And if you are careful and you count the number of churches, and sometimes you can see them from the road, or you may have to pull down around the corner. But ladies, in 137.5 miles, there are 83 churches on the way we go to the beach. Now, I don't know if that's a world's record, but I know it ought to be. That is a phenomenal thing. And there are about 4 ways that most people go to that particular beach, and all of them display the same high number of churches. That is a very good sign. Also, people here say, ma'am, sir. They hold the door. They stand up when the lady comes in the room. They take their hats off when they go into their house. They do all those kind of things, and those churches that we see, of course, are full. Churches around the world, a lot of them are empty, huge, magnificent churches, and hardly anybody in them at all. But it's not happening here. But those are the kind of things that are making a difference in South Carolina. I think there are 2 traditions that have made our difference. We're living in paradise with the natural beauty and richness that we have, that the kings and queens heard from the explorers say this place that we today call Carolina is the richest place in the New World. So we're in paradise right now. We don't know it. And we also have a great tradition of faith that is expressed by our people. It is expressed by your presence here today. And we also have a strong military tradition. We've been fighting since the very beginning. We have a magnificent military institution. And that military spirit, tradition, duty, honor, country, all of those things make a difference in our people. And the people that come from around the world, as I say, they look at us and they say, we are different. And that is why we are way ahead of all the other states in the attention that we attracted from around the world. So I heard somebody say that the best sermon that they ever heard was not one that they heard, but one that they saw. And so some of you may have heard this little poem by Edgar Guest. I won't read the whole thing, but just a couple of the verses are these. And he was from Britain, in Birmingham. He died in Detroit in 1959. He said, "I'd rather see a sermon than hear one any day. I'd rather one should walk with me than merely tell the way. The eye's a better pupil and more willing than the ear. Fine counsel is confusing, but example's always clear. And the best of all the preachers are the men who live their creeds. For to see good put in action is what everybody needs. I soon can learn to do it if you let me see it done. I can watch your hands in action, but your tongue too fast may run. And the lectures you deliver may be very wise and true, but I'd rather get my lessons by observing what you do. For I might understand you and the high advice you give, but there's no misunderstanding how you act and how you live." Final verse. One man, this pollen's getting me. I hope that's one thing that they don't like. One good man teaches many. Men believe what they behold. One good deed of kindness noticed is worth 40 that are told. Who stands with men of honor learns to hold his honor dear. For right living speaks a language to everyone is clear. Though an able speaker charms me with his eloquence, I say, I'd rather see his sermon than hear one any day. So ladies and gentlemen, I say to you, the people watching you, they're watching us, especially the young ones. Wouldn't it be nice if the best sermon that they ever heard was the one they saw when you walked into the room? God bless you.